What's up, everybody? This is Chris, and I'm one of the hosts of Crucial Tunes. It's a podcast where me and my buddy Larry, we sit around and talk about music. Talk about music we like, music we don't like. Talk about new music, old music, mainstream, underground. Talk to some local bands. Do it all. So if you like music, why don't you tune on in Crucial Tunes every other Friday on the Journey into Comics Network.
The following
Journey into Comics.
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 Network.
Production.
We're gonna fuck the sodomites in the
Warning, Podcastrophe imminent. This is Podcastrophe with Dick and Tyler. And Matt coming at you with a fistful of heritage on a podcast where anything goes and there are no safe spaces. This is Podcastrophe.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm your host, Dick. This is Podcastrophe, episode 79, and I'm here all by myself. Matt couldn't come for his own reasons. Tyler, we've done this. We've been doing this new thing where Matt and Tyler switch off every other week, and I think it's for the best because Matt he takes off work early to come do the show, so he has to do it every other week, and I just thought it'd be a good idea because I didn't want to overload Tyler or Matt, and that gives the show a little more variety. So we decided to do it every other week. So it turns out neither of them could do the show today. It was supposed to be Matt's day, and I had a guest lined up. He was pretty excited to do the show. Then I couldn't find another guest because I didn't really want to do a one-on-one show. Lately I don't really have like the mental capacity to do one-on-one. I need another person to feed off of. I need multiple people to feed off of. I'm also very, very tired today, and I will get to that in a little bit. But yeah, so we don't have Matt, we don't have Tyler. Tyler couldn't fill in for Matt and do 2 weeks in a row, so he's got a study session tonight. He's got a midterm coming up, and that's important. That's important. Life doesn't stop for a podcast, and I completely understand that. So, and I juggled the idea of like just canceling the show altogether, just for this week and throwing up some backlog, but I decided, I'll go down and do I'll stream a video game or something, or I'll do something. So I'm taking a shower because I needed a shower. I desperately needed a shower. I haven't showered since Sunday. This is Tuesday. That's disgusting. So while I'm in the shower, I'm just sitting there thinking, like, man, I should just do a solo cast. So here I am. I'm doing my solo cast. And I got a few things I can talk about. I got a couple. Mostly just catching up on my recent happenings and my life and what's going on in it. So yeah, I couldn't get another guest today. I had a bunch of people that I messaged, and aside from the original guest I had for today, and nobody could either nobody wanted to, nobody could pull through, or nobody answered. So here I am, and I'm talking to a live feed all by myself. And if you guys got any questions, if you got any comments, shoot them at me. Otherwise, I'm just gonna get into it. So Friday, I took the day off. I kind of knew I'd be fucking my team over by calling in because I already knew we were gonna be really shorthanded. But 450 North was releasing some beer. My wife had the day off already. So yeah, it just made sense. It just made sense to do it. I mean, I really hate burning a PTO day like that, like burning. I've been doing it a lot. So I've been calling in and using my PTO time a lot lately. And it's mostly because I normally don't use it this fast in the year. Like, it's only March. But since January 18th, I've been team leading. I've been filling in for my team leader, which normally if I do that, it's usually just for a day, maybe a week max. And Nate Phillips, I want to see you get angry and rant. Dick rants. I honestly have nothing to really rant about today. Dick ants. I have nothing to rant about today. I'm not angry. I'm just really tired. But anyway, so I've been taking a lot of days off, and I think it's a lot more stressful than I had ever imagined, and it doesn't help one bit that I discovered I will not be getting paid for it, or the quote unquote team leader pay, which would be basically just 50 cents an hour extra. But what they do is they count the amount of time the hours you worked, and they multiply that by 50 cents, and they just drop it on you, which is awesome. I would have definitely loved that, but in order to qualify for that, I have to do it for 6 months, and I'm, I guess, only doing this for 3. So yeah, so that's a demotivator. On top of that, I've been backup team leader about 2-3 years now, and at no point was I ever trained on any of the team leadery stuff. I don't know if that was my fault for not saying, hey, I need to be trained to do this stuff, or if they just never trained me. I don't know. I don't know what I was supposed to do for that, but basically I became backup team leader, and instead of learning how to do backup team leader stuff, they just sent me to another area, and I started filling in for people that weren't there, which really pissed me off. But that's part of the job. That's just part of the job, and I get it. I like to think I'm a hard worker when it comes to my job. Like, I take my job decently seriously, despite what a lot of people might think. So I've always wanted to. I originally wanted to be a team leader, and then I decided maybe not. But then I had been on nights for a little bit, and I was like, fuck it, I'll become a team leader. And then, like, right before I decided to go into the team leader program, they offered me day shift. So I said, fuck team leader, I'm going to days, and I'm getting my life back. And that was awesome. That was awesome. It's been great. And then I became backup team leader. So when I became backup team leader, I was like, yeah, that's cool. I'll still be on day shift. I don't have like all of the responsibility of being a team leader. It's cool. And the reason I want to be a team leader is because I like to play the support role. I like to help the people out that need help. I don't like doing the busy work. Busy work has never been for me, no matter what I've been doing, be it at school, be it my last job at Monocle's Pizza. I hate busy work. Cannot do it. I will stand around and do nothing all day, but I will not do busy work. It just drives me insane. Busy work drives me insane because if there's not a point to it, I don't want to fucking do it. So being a team leader or backup team leader, there's a lot of busy work you got to do, or that you're kind of I feel like people expect me to do it. They expect me to stay busy all the time. But the thing is, I don't like to stay busy as a team leader. I like to get my stuff done that I need to get done, and then I like to basically be on standby. I don't like to keep myself busy because as soon as I get myself busy, somebody's going to pull a light which signals, hey, I need help, or hey, I need something. Hey, I need to go to the bathroom, anything along those lines. So I don't want to be in the middle of something and then have a light go off and I have to stop what I'm doing and go to that. So I would much rather just stand around, sit and have a chat with Brandon, sit and have a chat with Cameron or somebody, you know. Busy work's not for me. And it's just, and then when you know you should probably be doing that busy work and you're not, but you have good intentions. Like I said, I think I have good intentions for, you know, standing around doing nothing. And those good intentions are, I'm basically waiting for someone to need me, which I don't see a problem with that, but I feel like other people might, and they're kind of judging me. I feel like I'm being judged for that, which is, it's whatever. I mean, if anybody has like a legitimate problem with the way I do things, they have every right to complain to the powers that be. And if that's the case, then that's the case. I'm okay with that. I've always been a person that has a very high sense of personal responsibility. I always take responsibility for anything I do that I know I do. And I know, like, if I know I do something wrong and I do it, I'll take responsibility for it. I always take responsibility for my actions. But anyway, so being backup team leader has really been stressing me out in terms of, like, I got to get up early. I got to be there by a certain time, get X amount of things done before a certain time, be there for a meeting, and then I have to give a meeting to my team. And sometimes I don't have a lot to say. I feel like I should, but I just don't. Because I just basically, I am given information, and then I regurgitate that information, sometimes very poorly, but I get it done for the most part. Yeah, it's really been stressing me out, because it's really taken a toll on, like, my psyche, my mental. Excuse me. All this fizz from this. I'm starting to get low on my fresh fruit double pineapple. And this specific one was like, and like, actually the last few ones have been like really carbonated. They're giving me a ton of head, and I don't like it. Yeah, like, it's crazy. I just poured a little bit in it. It's just like halfway full of foam. For those watching, check that out. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it's been stressful because I have so much expectation put on me, and then either by my group leader or by my teammates that I'm, I guess, in charge of. I don't like to consider myself in charge. Like, team leader to me is not a leader. They're just they're a support system. We are there for you. And I don't know. It's hard to explain the stress that comes with it. Like, yeah, it's not hard. Yeah, I'm not doing a lot, but when I have like several lights going off, or I'm online and I can't answer lights, or I don't know. It's tough. It's a lot tougher than I think, and this just definitely reasserts me never wanting to be a team leader, like a legitimate team leader. And I still got like at least a month left. So pray for me, send positive vibes, sacrifice a fucking goat or some small animal. I don't know. Do it. But I need help. No, it's all good. I've always considered myself like mentally capable and mentally strong. So like I basically handle most of anything that comes my way, which is what I do. It's just what I do. I handle it. If I need help, I ask for it. But that typically doesn't happen because I typically don't need help. So that's that. So yeah, I've been going through my PTO days is what I've been getting at. I've been going through my PTO days like crazy, a lot more than I usually do. And I only got like 5 total at the beginning of the year, and I've gone through, I think, 3. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun the rest of the year. But I think once I'm not team leading anymore and I'm back online, I'll be fine. Because then I'm just stuck in my routine. It's just routine from then on out. And I'm okay with that. I like routine. I like routine a lot. But anyway, so yeah, we took the day off. Or I took the day off. She already had the day off. And AJ, he says, gophers sacrifice them to delay the inevitable. I'd rather sacrifice sea otters. Like, I used to think sea otters were so cool until I found out how rapey they were. Like, they're incredibly rapey. They do a lot of crazy shit to themselves, to other animals. It's disgusting. Disgusting and evil. But anyway. So yeah, we went down to 450 North for a special beer release. They released 3 slushies. I think a blackberry jam dessert slushie, double raspberry slushie, and a Bahama Mama slushie. They also released s'mores. I think it was a double s'mores pastry stout. That was decent. And then they released Simcoe Nuggets and Silver Nuggets. Silver Nuggets was pretty good. It's pretty tasty. It's your standard New England IPA from 450. I think it's just a step above their distro, which is 450 Nuggets and Fountain of Juice. And then I tried the Simcoe Nuggets, which just it was really bland. It was almost the Silver Nuggets. It was like almost identical taste, but it was a lot blander. And I did not like it. I did not like it one bit, and I'm really glad I didn't actually get it, because that would have been a giant waste of money. And at the end of the day, before we left, we saw that the only thing they sold out of everything, and I'm not even gonna get into the line and the actual purchasing process. I'm not gonna get into that. It was just a mess. It was really disorganized. So it's whatever. But at the end of the day, they sold out of everything. But 20 cases. That's 20 cases of Simcoe Nuggets. So a lot of people just were not feeling the Simcoe Nuggets. And neither was I. So, yeah. But we had ourselves a nice pizza. We got like a half pepperoni, half chicken Alfredo. Which I'm not gonna get into it, Nate. It's just I'm too tired. A lot of the reason I'm not ranting is because I'm tired. Nate's in the comments like, get into it, come on, man. I'm like, nah, I'm good. So basically the way we did it was gonna be such a huge line, and Miranda and I know just usually by the time that we get through the line and we actually go inside 450 North's pub, it's just packed. It's just absolutely packed. So Mr. Nick Maxon of Brews with Dudes and Dungeons with Dudes and Doom Room and Weed Bee and all that fun stuff, him and Brett Maxwell ventured down as well, and they were already there, and so we made a deal with them. We're like, hey, so Brett wasn't purchasing anything. They were just splitting. So they were just in line together, but they were just splitting. So I was like, here, Brett, here's my card. Here's the beers I want. We will get a table and order whatever you want. I will order you whatever you want. You just get my beer, and we'll have the shit ready for you. So Miranda and I, we went inside, and we sat down for about 2 hours because that line went slow. People were cutting. I guess I'm going to get into it a little bit. So it was inside the banquet hall, and there's not enough room for like a legitimate line. Like it just wraps around, and people got there late and ended up cutting. Maybe they didn't even know they were cutting, but they just did. So people that got there late some people ended up getting their beer first that they definitely shouldn't have. They were just not in line. The lines merged and unmerged, and people cut, and it was just a giant mess. So they ended up cutting allotments at some point. I don't know. But yeah, so it ended up taking a lot longer, and it was just a mess, completely disorganized. Luckily, I think they said that that's the last time they do the banquet hall, or at least for this season. But yeah, so we had some pizza, drank some beer, chatted a little bit with Mr. Maxon and Maxwell, and then we headed home. The nice, almost 2-hour drive home. Picked the kids up from school. Came home. I can't remember what else I did that night. I legitimately can't remember what else I did that night. Wow, what did I do that night? That's crazy. I know Miranda had to work in the morning, so she went to bed early. And I'm still pouring this beer, just trying to get as much into this glass as I can so I can actually start drinking it. But it's just crazy carbonated or fermented or something. I don't know what's going on, but fucking, I'm just gonna start drinking it. Like, it still tastes really good. It still tastes excellent. But anyway, so I watched the kids the next day until she got off work. I think she got off work at like noon or something like that. She had to be there at 4. Yeah. And then that night, we went and saw How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, or How to Train Your Dragon 3, however you want to put it. Excellent movie. I'm not going to go into like a full review or full spoiler review, because I'd like to actually sit and talk with somebody about that that's seen it. Maybe Tyler or Matt's seen it. I don't know. Or maybe I can have Miranda on sometime and she can talk to me about it. I know she's watching. Yeah, How to Train Your Dragon 3. Excellent movie. I love those movies. I love the How to Train Your Dragon movies. This is the first time I've seen these movies with people. I typically watch these movies alone. Maybe. I think I went and saw the second one with somebody. I can't remember who, but excuse me. But the first one I watched by myself, and I've watched the second one by myself several times. I just love those movies. They're good movies. They have great cast with great voice acting. The animation's great. Toothless is hilarious. I wish I could own. I wish I had a dragon like Toothless. Toothless is fucking hilarious, and he's a badass. Toothless is a badass dragon. And so yeah, that's great movie. I can't recommend How to Train Your Dragon enough. Apparently, it's leading the box office 2 weekends in a row. That's awesome. Good. Kudos to DreamWorks, and kudos to How to Train Your Dragon. I love those movies. Sunday, we chilled out. I went and worked out a little bit, which I don't really get to work out very much anymore. I need to utilize my home gym more, but there's a lot of stuff I can't do here that I can do at my gym, such as cables and really heavy stuff. Not bragging or nothing. But yeah, I worked out a little bit, and then we went and hung out at Miranda's family. We hung out with her mom and dad and our brother and visited for a while, and that was just a good time. We had a really good time. Moving forward, so Monday, I come and face the music and go back to work. Still really short-handed, but I ended up having to be online for a little bit, and till I think second half of the day when we had some second shifters come in. But Monday night, Miranda and I, after work, ventured down to Indianapolis, and we got to check out a show. The show was for a band called Rivers of Nile. I've heard of them. I've listened to them a little bit. They're doing a full set of their brand new album. I can't remember what it's called at the moment. But yeah, it's so. A little while ago, Mr. Maxon informed me that his band Weedbee would be opening up for Rivers of Nile. Originally, the show was supposed to be at the Emerson, and then it got moved to the other property that the Emerson is moving to, called the Citadel. And then, for whatever reason, they moved. I think it was because the place wasn't ready yet, and it was too cold in the venue, so they moved it back. They moved it back to the Emerson, which really bummed me out because I hate the Emerson. It's such a trashy fucking place. The acoustics inside are just complete garbage. The outside, it's in a really shady part of town, and there's just no parking anywhere. So I hate going to the Emerson. Yet they get really awesome bands. Like this Friday, they have All That Remains playing there, and I really wish I could go. One, I'm not making another. That'd be my third trip to Indy in a week. I'm not doing that again. I work Saturday morning, so yeah, not doing that. And yeah. So We'd Be played second after a band that I don't know what the deal was. I can't remember what they were called. I don't know what they were called. They never said their name. I thought they sounded all right, but I couldn't tell if it was the acoustics of the venue. I couldn't tell if maybe they just weren't that great. I liked what I heard. There's something there, but I couldn't tell if they were just maybe because the acoustics were so bad that they couldn't hear each other, and that's why some things sounded off. Maybe the Emerson's sound guy really sucked and wasn't giving them the sound that they needed. I don't know what was going on, but in my head I played a game of would Nick Maxon book this band, and I'm split. It's split decision. Maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't. I don't know. I am curious to hear what they would sound like in like a normal venue that had like good acoustics and a decent sound guy. But I digress. So We'd Be played, and let me tell you, they put on such a great show, and there's no describing what they are right now. Like they're proggy, they're death metal-y, they're black and metal, they're all over the place, but despite being all over the place, they are completely in sync with each other. They are a very incredibly tight band, and it just blows my mind to see how far they've come. And I've been there since the beginning. I've been there since the beginning of the band when it was the only member I know now and that was there was Nick. Had a different drummer, had different guitarist and no bassist. Two different guitarists and no bass. Now they have, and it's the band's gone through so many different iterations, and this one's definitely, I think, got the most talent. No offense to the previous members, but this there's just no denying it. I mean, Tony Davis on bass is just out of this world. Kyle Pedigo, Tex, as we call him, he is this out of this world guitar player. I don't get it. And of course, Corey, awesome guitar player. He's always been a fantastic guitar player. He can shred like no other. He knows theory like crazy, and he's just awesome. And you got Dana on the drums, and he's such a badass drummer. Like, he plays it, like, you know, and you watch him. He's fun to watch because he gets into it, and he plays the dynamics of the songs so well. Like, he plays to the dynamics of the songs, and he plays, like, it's just it all meshes together so well. And then of course you got Nick, he's come a long way as a vocalist, I think. Him and I've always kind of looked, I used to look at him as like a vocal rival, because him and I were both pretty beginnery. We were very green when We'd Be started. Like, I had just lost my band, and I had just started getting good in my band, and then we called it quits, and then We'd Be came out. So I followed him, and, you know, I was always like kind of seeing what he was doing and seeing what I could do better, or if I could help him out, if he could help me out. You know, it was a cool rivalry. I don't know if Nick ever knew that or not, but that's how I saw it. It's not like that anymore, but Nick has come a huge leaps and bounds from where he was, and kudos to him, because he really put on a hell of a show last night. Like, I made a Facebook post earlier, and I think out of all the bands there last night, even like the touring bands, even Rivers and Nile, which I liked, I'll get to them in a second, but I think out of every band there, We'd Be killed it the most. They fucking kicked the most ass, and as I said in my post earlier, they were fucking rock stars up there. Like, there's no denying it. If they go somewhere, they are going to go somewhere. They're rock stars. Like that. They got it. They got what it takes, I think. So here's to We'd Be and making it big, because I can't wait for this new album to drop. I can't wait to jam it relentlessly, as I have the last full-length album, which is vastly different musically than this one. It's going to be great. It's going to be a good time. So Rivers and Nile went on like around 10 o'clock, maybe a little after 10 o'clock. It was late, and I was ready to get the fuck out of there. Miranda was too. She'd been up since 2 in the morning. I'd been up since 4. And it was just, we were both done. So we stuck around. We stuck around for, I think, 2 or 3 songs of Rivers and Nile. I dug what I heard. I really want to try them out more. I want to listen to a little more, but I was ready to go. So on my way out, I said goodbye to Brett and Chris Kerrigan. I didn't really say goodbye to Nick because he'd had a few drinks, and you know, I'm a person that some people I just like to give the good old Irish goodbye and not say goodbye. I think the Irish goodbye is really underutilized, and it's some people prefer that. Some people prefer the Irish goodbye, which is you just, if you're at a party, you just leave the party. You don't say goodbye to anybody. You just leave. That way, you're not leaving on bad terms with anybody. You're not wondering. You're not sitting there like, I need to leave, but this is going on. Like, I need to leave, but I'm still stuck in this conversation, or I want to keep this conversation going, but I need to leave, or you're about to leave, and then something else happens, and it keeps you there for a while. Like, you just leave, and yeah. So I just left. I guess Miranda tried to get Nick's attention and say goodbye, and I was already turned around and leaving. So now I feel like an asshole, but it is what it is. Sorry, Nick. Yeah. So headed home. That was a rough drive home too, because I was desperately fighting to stay awake. And then today, oh man, 5:15 came way too fast. And I should have woke up earlier than 5:15 because then I rushed to get to work. Shut up, Miranda. No, I don't. Not always. I like to do Irish goodbyes. She's saying I say goodbye to I go around and I say goodbye to everybody. I do sometimes. Not every time though. Like I don't know. It depends on the situation. Like I think if Miranda's with me, I say goodbye to everybody. But if it's just me, I walk out. Yeah, work was rough today. I was really tired. Got through it though. Wasn't a hard day, but I was just tired. So when it came down to, I had my guest, and the person will remain anonymous until he's on. We can talk all about it, but I didn't have the mental ability. I didn't have the mental capacity to sit and have a conversation with one person. And I also, like, I prefer to have more than one person because I can feed off of each person if I'm talking. I can feed off the conversation better, and there's no awkward silences. We feed off of each other, and I just wasn't feeling a one-on-one today, so I tried to get another person. And no one came to my rescue until I had already canceled the show, which ended up not canceling because I'm doing this right now. But, yeah, I was ready. I felt like a solo cast was at the least I could do. And we'll be back next week, for sure.
This drink break brought to you by the Journey into Comics Network. Check them out on Podbean, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music, and everywhere podcasts are found. Such as Spotify. I can't remember if I said Spotify or not. Speaking of Spotify, Podcastrophe is on Spotify now. Who'da thunk? All it took was me clicking a button in my Podbean settings, and they just put it on Spotify. Who'da thunk? And to think all this time I've just been putting it off because I didn't want to go through another process like getting it onto iTunes. Stupid. Anyways, you can get Podcastrophe on Spotify now. It's great. So if you have Spotify, get us. If you have all the other services like iTunes or Podbean, and I guess Stitcher Radio, I guess it's just automatically on Stitcher Radio, but I don't know if we are. I don't know. I haven't checked. I've never used Stitcher Radio. I've never
Never seen it. No, don't use it. Whatever. Yeah. I think I'm going to go ahead and call this episode. Like I was saying, go ahead and subscribe to the Journey into Comics Network. You get all kinds of shows like Journey into Comics, Journey to Wrestling, Gallif Radio, Voice of Survival, Brews with Dudes, Dungeons with Dudes, Port 360, Kids for Sale, Adulting Ain't Easy, Crucial Tunes, Foodie's Watching Movies, and I believe that is it. I believe that is all of the Journey into Comics Network shows. If I'm missing one, I'm sorry, Nate. And I'm sorry, whoever host of that show. I'm pretty sure I got all the hosts, all the shows. Hype, yeah, I got this, Nate. He's commenting me. He's telling me how to do my show, and he's telling me what to do, even though I was gonna do that anyways. But thanks, anyways, Nate. He's lighting up the chat. Anyways, so we have a show coming up, a really awesome show. It's on March 23rd. Here in Lafayette at the North End Pub. It's called Fun for Funds. We have 4 podcasts live at North End Pub, starting at 4 o'clock. Doors open at 3. Live podcasts start at 4 o'clock, I think, with Brews with Dudes and Podcastrophe, and then Dungeons with Dudes. And then at the very end of the night, we got Journey into Comics live. It's $10 to get in. So after you sit through all those podcasts, if you so choose to, you could wait around for a little bit, and at 7 o'clock, ugh, man, all this carbonation, you get live music with band members that are actually hosts of shows on the Journey into Comics Network. You get band number 1, which is my band, and I really hope we kick ass because we have had 0 time to practice. We've had 1 practice since last December. We couldn't practice this week. We probably won't get to practice next week. And then that leaves 1 more week. We wrote a song. We wrote a new song for the show. And I don't know if I'm going to have time to write lyrics for it or practice those lyrics. So that's going to be fun. We just might not play it. Who knows? Maybe we'll just have to save that for another show if it happens. Who knows? You got band number 1, which is my band. All that shit I just said. We're a lot of fun. It is going to be a blast. We got Boner Jovi. We got Walk Among Us. And we got Yesterday's Chips. It's going to be a hell of a show. That's a stacked lineup. That's a hell of a stacked lineup. So check it out. Please come to the North End Pub on March 23rd. Pay $10. You're helping us out. We're raising money for, I don't know, gear, merchandise, hosting. It's just money that's going to help our network out in whatever way it needs to. It's not going to us as individuals. So, and Ariel Tatum, I was scrolling too fast and read, tired of dick. I'm sorry, I'm sick and sleepy. I feel you. I'm not sick, but I'm sleepy. Anyway, so come on down, North End Pub, $10. Live podcast, live music, live comedy featuring Patrick Murray. We might have some other things going on. I'm not entirely sure what all we've fleshed out for the show, but that all that other stuff is definitely set in stone. It's gonna be a blast, and I can't fucking wait. I can't wait to. I can't hype this show enough. It's one of those things where like I had this idea, and normally my ideas don't fully go to fruition. And this show, I just started hyping it up. I'm like, dude, we need to do this. This will be a blast. It'll be a good time. I think it'll get us a lot of subscribers, get us a lot of listeners, get us some money. We could hype up LaFiCon. Like it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time. And Nate's like, dude, that's a great idea. We need to get Nick on board. So we got Nick on board, and he's helping out too. And yeah, Fun for Funds, March 23rd, North End Pub. I guess all I have left is to plug my own show, which is Podcastrophe, the show you're listening to right now. If you're on the Journey into Comics Network, or you're just happen to come across us, give Podcastrophe a subscribe, be it on iTunes, Spotify, or Podbean. Or, we live stream on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Just look up Podcastrophe on any of those services. You can catch us live anytime we do live videos, but it's mainly Tuesday, roughly around 6 o'clock. We also have an extra show called Happy Fun Metal Time that is exclusive to the Podcastrophe feed. That's another show featuring myself and Nick Maxon, where we just talk about metal stuff. We talk about heavy metal, and it's a jolly time. Happy Fun Metal Time with Nick and Dick. Coming in April, when the new season of Game of Thrones hits, the final season of Game of Thrones hits, we are doing a mini companion series to the final season. Every episode of the season gets a companion episode on the Podcastrophe channel. Yeah, words. And I think we're going to call this Game of King Chairs. And it's going to feature Nick Maxon again, because he's a huge Game of Thrones guy like I am. He's a bigger Game of Thrones guy than I am. It's going to feature a rotating cast of people, be it Nick Maxon, maybe Brandon Stone, maybe a couple other people. Tyler McLaughlin, co-host Podcastrophe. He will hopefully be caught up on Game of Thrones by that point. They just dropped a brand new trailer today. Today's March 5th. If you're listening, this was Tuesday. Today's Tuesday, but if you're listening, it's Thursday. And they dropped a brand new trailer, and I am stoked. They also released there was an article saying that the final battle, the long night, as you will, is gonna be the biggest fucking battle sequence in television history. They're saying it is supposedly bigger than the Battle of Helm's Deep from Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. And that excites me. I have a throbbing heart-on for that right now. Like, I cannot wait for Game of Thrones Season 7. Season 8. Season 8! And they say that they also said the battle's going to be the entirety of the episode, which every episode this season is like 2 hours long. Keep that in mind. That's a 2-hour battle. But I've said enough. I've talked enough. It's been 42 minutes. I'm done. I need to get out of here. I need to chill out with my family. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for commenting. This is a lot more comments than I even expected, even though it's just Nate and my wife and a couple other people. But yeah, thank you for watching. And thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing if you have. And please make every day a big dick day. Bye, guys.
Hey, this is Nathan Explosion from Death Clock, and I just wanted to tell you guys about an event coming up in here pretty soon, March 23rd. Fun for Funds. It's a Journey into Comics network event.
Oh yeah, and it's featuring live podcasts from Brews with Dudes, and Podcastrophe, and Dungeons with Dudes, and Journey into Comics.
With performances by those jackasses in band number 1. Also, Boner Shelby, Walk Among Us, and Yesterday's Chips.
I do not want to say the things about the comedians, the big Santa Claus's comedians, them's Patrick's Mercies. It's the live stand-ups guys that will be there at the North in pubs on March 23rd.
Dr. Roxo, the Rock and Roll Club, baby. Here to tell you one last thing, man. You might have forgot about it, but doors are opening at 3. We're gonna have podcasts at 4. You're gonna pay $10, baby, and it's 21 and up. That's a fact, Jack. Check it out.